Discuss about Dirac delta functions. This Dirac delta function used in quantum mechanics as well as in electromagnetic theory and many other different places. So first we start with by basic concept of Dirac delta function. Suppose here it is given a function and here it is, let's say, x of this. Now let's say it is a rectangle and the area of this rectangle is let's say 1. Now if we reduce its width and try to remain the area same, if we try to remain the area same, means unity, but reduce the width, the height of function will increase. Now if we reduce the area very small, this height became much larger and larger. So when its width tending towards 0, its height became very large, and but the area of the function is still unity. Such functions are known as Dirac delta function, and we represent it by some delta of x minus a, which is equal to 0 if x is not equal to a, and 1 if x is equal to a. One of the basic property of the Dirac delta function is, if we integrate it over a whole region fx delta of x minus a, this is equal to fa, means function exists only at x is equal to a, and this is the very steep functions. Okay, so this is the primary definition of the Dirac delta function. Now we take some more general function and prove that under which condition these functions are become a Dirac delta function. So for this we have take example of a Gaussian function and try to prove that it's okay. So for that, consider a Gaussian function g, let's say sigma of x is given by 1 upon sigma root 2 pi exponential minus x square by 2 sigma square. But before we discuss about these function, let us just remember one mathematical integral. The formula of this integral is e power minus alpha x square plus beta x dx is equal to root pi by alpha exponential beta square by 4 alpha. Beta square by 4 alpha. Now if we integrate this Gaussian function using this formula, minus infinity to infinity g sigma of x into dx, and we will find that by putting the value of g sigma by putting the value of g sigma, which is 1 upon sigma root 2 pi exponential x square by 2 sigma square dx. Now if you see the integral, our alpha is 1 upon 2 sigma square, but beta is 0. So by solving this integral, we can get root 2 pi sigma square, and that will give you 1. So area over this is the curve of this is also unity if sigma is greater than 0. Area of a Gaussian curve is 0. Now if we plot a Gaussian curve, suppose here we just want to plot a Gaussian curve, and this goes like that. Sorry, it will go on up to infinity, it never touches it. So now this is the peak of the function, and now let's say it is the sigma of the function, width of the function. Now if we reduce and its area under the curve is 1, that I have already proved. Now if we decrease the sigma, then its height will be increases, because area is going to remain the same. But if we reduce the width up to a very small value like sigma tending to 0, then this function became a Gaussian function, it became a Dirac delta function, a delta function. So Gaussian function at limit sigma tending to 0 पे 1 upon sigma root 2 pi exponential minus x square by 2 sigma square, this is became a delta function. Or we can just write like that, delta of x minus a is equal to limit sigma tending to 0 1 upon sigma root 2 pi exponential minus x minus a का whole square by 2 sigma square. So this is the Gaussian representation of a delta function. This is the Gaussian representation of delta function. Okay. Now if we want to represent another delta function, which we say that integral representation of the Gaussian function, integral representation of a Gaussian function, of a Gaussian function, integral representation of a delta function, not Gaussian function, of a delta function. So we have to just first remember this is a integral given by sin kx upon x dx is equal to pi for k greater than 0. Now it can also be written as sin kx upon pi x dx is equal to 1, means the area under curve of this function is equal to 1. This integral can be solved by using Laplace or any other transform, and okay, so now if we plot this function basically, and suppose if we want to plot it like sin kx upon pi x, so limit x tending to 0, so what we can get? We can get k upon pi. So we plot it. So this is the peak value k upon pi, which is nearly, if we put k barabar 1, so at that point it was on decreasing it. Now if we take k is equal to 10, if we increase the k equal to 10, so x become pi by 10. In that cases, the height of the function increases, and so it goes up, and width is decreases. So as this limit k tending to infinity, this decreases, this function sin kx upon pi x is converted into a delta function basically, and this is converted into a delta function. Now if we want to write it like that, 1 upon 2 pi minus k to plus k e power I gx, let's say dg. Integrate it, what we can get? 1 upon 2 pi e power I gx upon ix, and putting the limit minus k upon k, and now if we substitute value of g, we can get 1 upon 2 pi x e power I kx e power minus I kx upon I, and this is nothing but sin kx upon pi x. So 1 upon 2 pi minus k to k e power I gx dA g, this is equal to sin kx upon x. As we have already proved that limit k tending to infinity 1 upon 2 pi minus infinity to infinity e power I gx dg, this is equal to limit k tending to infinity sin kx upon pi x, as we have studied. This is become a delta function, because we have proved that when k increases, this equal to become this. So this is what is called integral representation of the delta function. Integral representation of delta function, right? Now we write it as like delta x minus x dash, shift the origin, 1 upon 2 pi minus infinity to infinity e power plus minus, it does not matter, you can take plus or minus, x dash dg. This is what is known as integral representation of the delta function. Now so till now we have studied that delta x minus x dash 1 upon 2 pi minus infinity to infinity e power I k x minus x dash dk, this is a delta function. For any delta function we know that f of x is equal to delta x minus x dash f x dash dx dash. X minus a fa is equal to f x minus a fx dx, as already discussed. Now if we substitute this delta x minus x dash from here, what we can get? We can get 1 upon 2 pi, and now we have two integral of minus infinity to infinity, and e power I k x minus x dash f x dash dx dash dk, dx dash dk. Now define f of k 1 upon root 2 pi minus infinity to infinity fx dash e power I kx dash dx dash using this b get f of x is 1 upon root 2 pi minus infinity to infinity f of k e power I kx dk. This f of k is known as Fourier transform of f of x, and f of x is known as inverse Fourier transform of f of k. ठीक है. Let us take an example and show that what is the Fourier transform of a function. For example, f of x is equal to a e power minus x square upon 2 sigma square. Now we want to get its Fourier transform. We have to use the formula a root 2 pi minus infinity to infinity e power minus x square upon 2 sigma square e power I kx dx, and we again use the integral which I have already mentioned, and we can get a 1 upon root 2 pi under root pi 2 sigma square. We can get exponential beta square by 4 alpha, so we can just get sigma square into 2 by 4, because our alpha is 1 over 2 sigma square and our beta is equal to ik. So using this we can get a sigma exponential minus k square sigma square by 2. Now if we have a function f of x whose width is equal to sigma, and let's say give its name delta x has a width, तो इसका जो फोरियर ट्रांसफॉर्म होगा, यू कैन सी इट, फोरियर ट्रांसफॉर्म हैज ए width f of k is equal to 1 upon sigma, and let's say give it a name is delta x into k. So if fx is localized in sigma, so fk is localized over 1 upon sigma, such that delta x delta k is equal to 1. As we know that delta k p is equal to h cross k, so delta p is equal to h cross delta k, and this equation became basically delta x delta p approximately equal to h cross, and this is the basis of our uncertainty principle which has been discussed. Okay.